Okay, so now I want to talk about the float type. The float type is when you have fractional components to your number. So for example, like in the last video, we talked about number of students in the class, number of people on this earth. Students and people, they're whole numbers, okay? These are whole numbers. You're not going to have a half of a student or, a fraction of a student. So integer makes sense in that case. But what if we're talking about the price of something in a store, for example? That has, and let's say it's, $6.95. So let's say we have the price of a book or something on Amazon.com and it's $6.95. So that's not an integer, okay? That has a fractional component. Or for example, the number pi, okay? 3.1415, blah, 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 okay? 92, I'm not going to go crazy with this, but okay, so you get the idea. So we have float types to store fractional numbers. And let's see, so let's print the price of that book. So we said this is the price of a book. Remember what I said in the last video? The computer likes raw, unformatted numbers. So if this is the price of something, don't do this. Don't put a dollar sign on that or, anything like that, anything of the sort. So if I want to print the price of the book, we'll say this book, whoops, I messed up my quotes here. I'm using the F-string technique. Okay, this book costs, I'm going to put the placeholder in there, and then that. Okay, so let's just drop the price in. Let's see how it looks. Okay, not bad, not bad. I would like a dollar sign on there. So here, why don't we just hard code a dollar sign? Note, I'm not in the placeholder. Only the variable name goes into the placeholder. And any formatting, like, we did this in the last video, any formatting might go in the placeholder as well. But that dollar sign stays outside in green. Okay, so $6.95. Let me see here. What if the book was on sale for $6 even? Let's see what we get. If I have 6.00. Okay, see, I don't like that. I want it to look like proper money. Okay, proper money. So what we can do, I've got another formatting trick here. We're going to put a colon. We're going to put a decimal point. And we're going to say 2 places after the decimal point. Then you have to put a little F on there. I think that stamp maybe stands for format, but you have to put an F there. And then watch this. Okay, so now it looks like proper money. Because we'll be using that technique a lot, just manipulating the number of decimal places. Okay. All right, so that's your float. And you know what, let's just knock out the bool while we're at it. This is the Boolean type. This is fairly simple. We're not going to use this as much as the other 3 types that we talked about, but we'll use it from time to time. And this is a bool or a Boolean type, which you might imagine will store true or false values. That's it, either true or false. And true and false are capitalized in Python. I know that's hard for me to get used to. So let's say this is Amazon.com, and if the user is a Prime member, then we're going to give them a 10% discount or something like that. Okay, so I'm going to create a Boolean variable called isPrime. Often, not always, but often you'll phrase a Boolean variable's name like as a question, because it's as a yes/no question, because it's a true/false value. Is prime true or false? Is prime yes or no? Okay, not always, but that's very conventional to phrase it like a question, like an is question, is or is not. All right, so we're going to say this person is a Prime member. So let me see here. I'm going to throw that into a print statement and see how Python handles this. Let's see. Okay, so it just printed the true. So let's do this. So we said if they're Prime. Now we're getting ahead of ourselves, and we'll be talking a lot about this technique later in weeks to come. But let's just do it now. We're going to say if is prime, meaning if yes they are prime, if that's true, colon, this is just a syntax thing in Python, we're going to take 10% off of the price. So we'll say price, there are different ways of doing this, but I'm just going to say price is multiply price by like 90% of itself, by 0.9, and that basically gives us a 10% discount, right? If I multiply price by 90% of itself, then I knock 10% off of that price. Okay, so let's print the total for the user. We'll use an F string to do that. Okay, so we'll say this book costs, I'm going to throw my placeholder in here, for Prime members. Okay, so here we go. The price, I'm going to drop the price in there. And, well, you know what, let's just run it. Okay, so it was $6. 60 cents off brings us down to $5.40, right? 60 cents was 10% of $6. Now, I want to format this again, so let's throw a dollar sign in there, and remember the trick I showed you. So we're going to put a colon there for 2 places after. I'm going to put decimal point, and then 2 places after the decimal point, 2 decimal places, and then you have to put a little F there. So now it'll look a lot better. And there it is.